Hi, I'm Ashley Walker.
I'm Stephen Walker, and this is Word on the Street.
In this week's programme, A Holiday by the Sea, we take a trip to Blackpool.
From screams on the beach to screams on the rides. But who's brave enough to go on Britain's biggest roller coaster?
Piers and puppets. We find out how traditional seaside entertainment is changing.
Hi and welcome to the programme.
One great thing about living on an island is that you're never too far away from the sea.
When we were growing up, Mum and Dad used to take us to the beach in the summer.
It seemed like those holidays lasted forever.
We all love to talk about good times from the past, and in this programme we'll be looking at how you can talk about past experiences. Don't forget, you can follow each programme on our website. The address is here on the screen.
And we've been out of London again, and we headed to the north of England for some sun, sea, sand and fish and chips. This may look like Paris, but we're in Blackpool in the north of England, about an hour's drive from Manchester. And as you can see, it's a seaside town, and for more than 100 years people have been coming here for their holidays. In fact, Ashley and I used to come here when we were kids.
Yes, that's right. I used to love coming to Blackpool. The beach, the sunshine, the fish and chips, and the ice cream.
And I love the theme parks and all the rides. Come on, Ash, this is going to be great.
Yeah, mate.
Oh, what was it like?
It was crazy. I've been on it about 4 times. I can't get enough.
Was it scary?
It was scary. I think it was.
But you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I loved it.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you later. Come on, Ash. Shall we have a go?
No way.
Oh, Ash, don't be such a chicken.
No way, Stephen. You can have a go on that if you want, but there is no way I'm going on it.
I'll wave to you when I go past. See you later.
See you.
What? I never felt better. That was amazing, Ashley. You should have come on it too. Shame you were too scared.
You weren't scared?
Of course not. I loved it.
Oh, that's great. Funny though, if you weren't scared, well then, who's this in the photographs? I mean, it looks like you, doesn't it? Look, he's wearing the same T-shirt.
Oh, come on, Ash. Let's look at the other rides.
Oh, I like the look of this one. The log flume. Should we have a go on that?
You can if you want, but to be honest, it doesn't look like my kind of ride. I like the exciting ones. You know, I'll watch you. You sure you'll be okay? You're not scared of getting wet?
Don't worry, I'll be fine. Look at you, what happened?
Don't ask. Why aren't you wet? You know what? I think I've had enough of this theme park. I need to sit down.
I'll tell you what, why don't we go and have a nice cup of tea, eh?
And some fish and chips, yeah. Let's do that.
Come on then.
have that cup of tea in a minute, but first I have got to have a go on that.
Okay, we'll go back to Blackpool a bit later, but let's just take a quick look through all of that with our English language expert, Rob, from the British Council. Hiya, Rob.
Hi, Ashley. Theme park looks great.
Oh, it was great fun.
And there's lots there for me to talk about. Let's start with what I just said. The theme park looks great. There are a few examples of look. Watch this.
This may look like Paris, but we're in Blackpool in the north of England.
Blimey, are you okay? You look a little white, Stephen.
What?
Who's this in the photographs? I mean, it looks like you, doesn't it? Look, he's wearing the same T-shirt.
Oh, come on, Ash, let's look at the other rides.
Now, a question I sometimes get asked by my students is when do we say look and when do we say look like? Stephen said this might look like Paris.
This may look like Paris, but we're in Blackpool in the north of England.
And you said you look a little white, Stephen.
Are you okay? You look a little white, Stephen.
What?
So what's the difference?
Well, we say look like with a thing or a person, a noun, and we just say look with an adjective like white or happy, cold or interesting. So we say this looks interesting or she looks very happy, but we say she looks like a teacher or it looks like a nice place to live.
I see. You know, I guess I must say these things the right way. I just didn't know the rules of why I say them that way.
Of course not, and you don't need to. There were some other examples of look in the video if people want to watch again, but I want to have a look at something different now. Suggestions. Let's watch.
Come on, Ash, shall we have a go?
No way.
Oh, come on, Ash, let's look at the other rides.
Oh, I like the look of this one. The log flume. Should we have a go on that? I'll tell you what, why don't we go and have a nice cup of tea, eh?
And some fish and chips, yeah. Let's do that.
Come on then.
Why don't we go and have a cup of tea? Shall we have a go on that? Let's look at the other rides. 3 ways there of making a suggestion.
Are they different?
No, they're all the same. Why don't we? Shall we? Let's. All really common ways of suggesting something to do. And another thing I liked there was what you said to Stephen. This bit.
I'll tell you what, why don't we go and have a nice cup of tea, eh? What?
You said, why don't we go and have a nice cup of tea? My students always tell me that British people say nice all the time. And it's true that we do say it quite a lot. It's nice and warm in here, or we'll have a nice cup of tea, or it's got a nice big garden. Listen out for it.
Well, it's been nice, Rob. Thanks. We'll speak to you again a bit later. And now it's time for our weekly quiz, Streetwise.
A public holiday in the UK is called what? A bank holiday, a shop holiday, or a Queen's holiday?
Did you get it? Stay watching to find out the answer later in the programme. The seaside has changed a lot since we were kids. You can still find traditional entertainment like donkey rides and fun fairs. But, as Nick's been finding out, technology is changing the way we spend our free time.
Seaside towns like Blackpool and here in Southend are home to entertainments like sandcastle building, donkey rides, eating fish and chips and ice cream. These towns are famous for their piers. This pier is more than 2 kilometres long. It's the longest pleasure pier in the world. There is even a train to take you to the other end. 100 years ago, the pier was an important part of seaside entertainment. Visitors could walk out across the sea and feel like they were on a ship. It was a thrilling experience. It doesn't feel very scary now.
Hello everybody, welcome to our Punch and Judy show.
These days, the pier is still home to traditional shows like Punch and Judy, a puppet show about Mr. Punch and his adventures. Mr. Punch is often naughty. Martin Scott Price has been performing in Blackpool for 35 years.
Well, in my show, I do have a very frightening crocodile. Mr. Punch is a very naughty boy at times, and then Judy comes along, she has the sausages for the tea, and unfortunately the crocodile comes along and steals them, and he drops them on the floor sometimes, you know, and the children go to put them back, and my gosh, the crocodile nearly eats their fingers and they go running away. Oh, my favourite character, sadly, is not Mr. Punch. It's the crocodile. I love children, especially to eat.
Parents and children seem to like traditional entertainment, but not all visitors want to see a show or go to the beach. What about modern attractions? Amusement arcades like this one feature virtual entertainment.
If you wanna get with me, gotta learn how to drop, 'cause I'm hot. If you wanna dance with me, gotta make my body rock, 'cause I'm hot. Tell me that.
I like being on the dance mat because it's fun and it's good exercise, and I like dancing to the music.
I like to come and play in the arcades because it's good fun. I like to try and beat my friends at the games. I like playing driving games because they're fun, fast and exciting.
Young people seem to enjoy arcade games, but can playing on a computer actually make someone better at sport? Dr. Matthew Taylor is a sports scientist at the University of Essex. His work looks at how playing on a computer can affect physical activity. Can playing these computer games increase real sports skills?
Research has shown this not to be the case. It's not going to improve your football skills or your tennis skills, for example, but it would improve your hand-eye coordination.
Can playing a computer game improve other skills?
Formula 1 racing drivers practice on computer simulators to learn different tracks, and also surgeons may improve their surgical skill by playing computer games.
So do they improve physical ability in any way?
The more active video games will improve your physical fitness, but it's no real substitute for the real thing. And also you must remember that you shouldn't play these games for too long.
Years on, and the seaside is still a popular place for entertainment and enjoyment. In the past, it was a simple walk on the pier. These days, it's virtual games and amusement arcades. But you can't come to the seaside without trying a stick of rock.
And if you'd like any help with the language you heard there, you can go to our website. The address is on the screen.
This is Word on the Street. Still to come in the programme, we take to the floor in the ballroom dancing capital of the world.
And have you worked it out yet? Stay watching to find out the answer to Streetwise. Of course, these days, if you don't want to deal with packing and traffic jams, you can turn on your computer and have a virtual holiday experience. Computer technology is offering us a whole new range of online experiences. In this week's Seat on the Street, we asked our expert about the popularity of virtual reality and online computer games.
Welcome to Seat on the Street.
Hello.
Please identify yourself.
I'm Richard Taylor, the editor of the BBC's technology programme, Click.
Why are computer games more popular than ever?
Games are more sophisticated and more appealing than they ever have been. When they first started life in the 1970s, they were very simple and they were aimed simply at a younger population. Those youngsters have grown up and the games have grown with them, and gaming is very much a mainstream hobby for a lot of people.
How have they changed over the last few years?
The first computer games ran on home computers that were very simple. As computers have become ever more complicated and powerful, so the opportunities for games developers have increased dramatically. So you can have much more complex graphics, much better gameplay, and with the addition of the internet, it's allowed that gameplay to become a lot more social.
How does virtual reality fit into computer gaming?
Many computer games use an element of virtual reality, which is simply a world made up of computer graphics. And in that world, you may place your online representation, your so-called avatar, and explore things in that world, and indeed talk to and communicate with other avatars.
Are there any problems associated with online games and virtual worlds?
One of the biggest problems with virtual worlds is that they can be very addictive, especially for people who are suffering from problems in their own lives, and they see these worlds as a way of escaping from their own problems. So instead of making them more social, the actual impact may be that they become less social, more withdrawn, and less able to communicate with people in the real world.
What exciting innovations can we expect in the future?
The ultimate aim for lots of games designers is to make the virtual worlds they're creating seem like they're not being created by graphics, but simply part of another real world instead. Also, the way that you're interacting with these worlds is changing. You no longer need a keyboard or a mouse or a joystick. You can use your own body, and you can feel like you're actually touching things in that world.
Thank you for taking part in Seat on the Street.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go straight back to Blackpool to see how me and Ashley got on.
I seem to remember you'd promised me fish and chips.
Oh, it's great to be back here. Do you remember when we used to come here when we were kids?
Yeah, I remember. And I remember that you used to spend all your pocket money on rubbish. He used to buy junk like this.
Oh my gosh, come on Ash, let's get a photo. Hey, it says here that Blackpool is the ballroom dancing capital of the world.
Really?
It says that people come from all over the world to dance at the Tower Ballroom. Come on, let's have a look.
Yeah, let's have a go. Well, hello there, Shemaine. So why do you think people enjoy ballroom dancing so much?
I think it's such a sociable thing to do together, keeps you fit, keeps you young.
So what kind of people would you get coming to ballroom dancing then?
It varies. They start from young children right through to the older people.
So why do you think that Blackpool is the ballroom dancing capital of the world?
Looking at this venue, it's such a beautiful place. There's nowhere like it.
Yeah.
The floor is fantastic to dance on.
And do you get visitors coming from all over the world?
Yes, we do, from Italy, Russia, America.
Well, we love dancing, my brother and I.
I think we should start with the waltz.
That was great. I'm starving. Excuse me, could you recommend a restaurant? Where's a good place to eat round here?
But Stephen, you promised me fish and chips. You can't come to Blackpool and not have fish and chips.
That's right, Ash. I did, didn't I? Okay, where can I get a great fish and chips?
That's easy. You go down there, you turn right, across from the Pleasure Beach Hotel.
Yeah, that's the best in town.
Oh, fantastic. Feeling really hungry now. Need to eat.
Me too. Thank you, girls. Oh, I don't believe it. The shop's closed. That is so unfair. Well, what are we going to do now?
Listen, Ash, I really want fish as well. I'm really sorry about that, but I've got a good idea.
Did you catch any fish?
No, I'm afraid not. And we didn't get our fish and chips.
Oh dear. It's not the first time you've been to Blackpool, is it?
No, we used to go there on holiday when we were kids.
And you didn't go there just once, did you?
No, how do you know?
I know, because Ashley said you used to when she talked about your holidays.
Oh, it's great to be back here. Do you remember when we used to come here when we were kids?
Yeah, I remember. And I remember that you used to spend all your pocket money on rubbish. He used to buy junk like this.
Used to, as in we used to come here when we were kids and you used to spend all your pocket money on rubbish, tells us two things. It tells us that something was in the past, when you were kids, and it tells us that it happened more than once, or for some time.
So if it only happened once...
We don't say used to. So, I can say I used to work in Italy, but I can't say I used to start working in Italy in 2004. You have to say I started working in Italy in 2004 because I only started once. It didn't happen lots of times. It's quite tricky, but if you're a learner and you hear something like this...
Do you remember when we used to come here when we were kids?
Yeah, I remember. And I remember that you used to spend all your pocket money on rubbish.
Then you know it's talking about the past, and it happened more than once or for some time.
Okay.
The other thing about used to is how you say it. Listen.
Do you remember when we used to come here when we were kids?
You didn't say used to come here, you said used to come here.
Used to come here? Yeah.
The to of used to is unstressed. It's a soft sound. That means we don't say to, but to. That sound is very common in English. Listen to it again.
Do you remember when we used to come here when we were kids?
Yeah, I remember. And I remember that you used to spend all your pocket money on rubbish.
Now listen to something else, something that Ashley said.
Oh, I don't believe it. The shop's closed. That is so unfair. Well, what are we going to do now?
What are we going to do now? Did you hear the sounds? Not what are, but what are. And not going to, but gonna.
What are we going to do now?
In English, unlike some other languages, we normally stress the most important words in a sentence. What are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? See what I mean?
It's quite musical.
Yes, it is a bit. One more thing, Stephen. I really liked a question you asked. Watch this.
Excuse me, could you recommend a restaurant? Where's a good place to eat round here?
Excuse me, nice and polite. Could you recommend a restaurant? Okay, you can say can you recommend or could you recommend. They're both okay. Could is a little bit more polite. Where's a good place to eat round here? A nice way of asking for advice. Now, Stephen, I really need a coffee. Could you recommend a good place for coffee around here?
Definitely. Right after this. Thanks, Rob. Now we've just got time to find out the answer to this week's Streetwise.
A public holiday in the UK is called what? A bank holiday, a shop holiday, or a Queen's holiday? And the answer is a bank holiday. And yes, the banks will be closed.
I hope you got that. If not, better luck next time. Well, that's all we've got time for now.
Before we go, let's look back at today's programme. We talked about look and look like. Remember that we use look with an adjective. You look a little white, Stephen. And we use look like with a noun. Blackpool looks like Paris. We also looked at suggestions. Why don't we? Shall we? Let's. 3 ways of making suggestions there. Another thing we looked at was used to, and talking about things we did in the past, our past habits. They used to go to Blackpool when they were kids. Things that happened again and again in the past. And finally, remember nice? It's been nice talking to you. Don't forget to visit our website for more help with your English.
Thanks, Rob. From Stephen, Rob and me, goodbye.
Bye.